Have you tried the tank build from the Stonesplit path yet? Watching the heavy blade slam straight into enemy face over and over again is satisfying. If you haven't tried, you might want to give it a shot. Welcome back to the Meta Instinct channel. This build isn't just strong in PvE, it's also performed very well in PvP. I even took down many players who don't dodge my combo in just 9 seconds. This build helps me get into a legend rank in Arena in just a few days. In today's video, I'll break down exactly how this build works, how to use a combo, and which inner ways I prefer. As for PvP, that's a whole different story, so I'll cover that in a separate video. First, how this build actually works. At its core, this build uses Thundercry blade as a primary source of damage, and Stormbreaker spear for damage boost and damage reduction. It's a tank build, so you're running high HP, damage reduction, and HP shield. That gives you a lot more room for mistake compared to others' build. Getting hit by the boss, that's okay, I still have plenty of HP to spare. Even though it's labeled as a tank, it's very offensive. It's not a DPS build because the attack speed is slow, really slow, but every single hit hurts a lot, so you can't really compare it directly to the fast DPS build like the strategy or dual blitz. They are entirely different playstyle. Instead of rapid strike, this build feels more like an educator. You stay patient, you wait for the right moment, and when the enemy slip up, you strike hard. Currently, I can land over 40,000 damage with just 2 slams. Now, let's talk about the charge skill, Avalanche. There are 2 ways to cast. The first way is the traditional method. You hold R and charge about 2 seconds to reach stage 3. Stage 3 is very important. If you release the R button early, the damage will be lower. When you reach stage 3, you will hear the sound cue. Ding! That's your signal. Let go and slam. The second method is much easier. You hold your defense button with Thundercry blade and let the enemy hit you. If you successfully block an attack, you will see an F icon counting down on the screen. Press F or R to instantly release a stage 3 charge skill without charging. This method requires the accuracy scenery in a way, which is a core for this build. The effect has a 10-second cooldown. At tier 4, it drops to 5 seconds, which makes a huge difference. So you can block again real quick after the previous slam. Now, every slam consumes 1 bar of battle wheel and gives you 20% bonus damage. Battle wheel is a gold shield resource above your weapon. It regenerates over time, and casting martial arts skill gives you 2 bars of battle wheel. If you're out of battle wheel, you can still slam, but without the 20% bonus. At tier 6 accuracy scenery, things get crazy. You consume 2 bars instead of 1, and the damage boost will jump to 50%. That's a massive spike. After the slam, you can press R again for a very combo, which gives you another slam. So you will get 2 slams in total. But what about 4 slams? Aha! That's because of the Mountain Shaker buff. If one of your slam hit an exhausted enemy, Mountain Shaker activates. While it's active, pressing R lets you slam up to 2 more times without charging. But here's a catch, the enemy must already be exhausted when you slam. If your second slam causes exhaustion, it doesn't count. Mountain Shaker has a 30-second cooldown shown by the yellow icon. If you can't slam 4 times, either it's on cooldown or the enemy wasn't exhausted. Extra slam also consumes the same amount of battle wheel. But if you have accuracy scenery at tier 3, the battle wheel used for very combo gets refunded, as long as you hit a target. Hitting the ground, sorry, no refund. So basically, you only pay for the first slam. The rest are free if you land it on the enemy. Now let's talk about the prep phase. At the beginning of fight, I will prep for 2 buffs, Breakthrough and HP shield. Start with Stormbreaker spear and press Q. That will give you Drumbeat. Drumbeat adds 15% bonus damage to charge skill and 20% damage reduction. For your information, button Q is for the martial arts skill, and it will be a different button on console and mobile. If that skill hit an enemy, the enemy will take a 20% damage debuff. But hitting the enemy is optional. You will still get the drum beat buff even if you don't hit anyone. You can also get the drum beat from Spear's charge skill, but it takes longer and doesn't give the damage reduction. Use it as a backup option. Next, switch to Thundercry blade and press Q. That will give you an HP shield equal to 25% of your max HP. At the same time, drum beats upgrade into Breakthrough, which boosts charge skill damage by 30% for 12 seconds. After 12 seconds, you can renew the buff by casting Q again. But the cooldown of Q is also 12 seconds, so the timing is very tight. That's why the Art of Resistance in the way is required for this build. At tier 4, it extends the shield and breakthrough by 6 seconds, and now you have 18 seconds of buffs. You can easily renew them within the 6 second gap. If you are buying bundles in Winsmith, you might be overpaying. A $100 bundle can cost more in some regions like the UK, but much cheaper in Japan. Taking advantage of these regional prices on your own is complicated and risky, but GemZ can handle everything for you. With GemZ, a $100 bundle can cost as low as $78 for the first time customer. Click the link in the description and start saving today with GemZ. Now let's talk about the inner ways. Exquisite Scenery and Art of Resistance are mandatory. The rest vary depending on your playstyle. Rock Solid boosts Stormbreaker damage reduction. Trap Beast increase HP and shield amount. These inner ways are essential when you want to tank more damage. Personally, I prefer more damage output, not defense, so I didn't pick them. From my observation, there are 3 popular choices of inner ways among the tank players: Morale Chant, Adaptive Steel, and Battle Anthem. Morale Chant works well in many builds, especially on the DPS builds. You can use it on this build as well. The only issue is that you need to hit enemies to gain and keep the E-River stacks. It wasn't an issue in the boss fight because you can easily hit the boss with martial arts and mythic skills. But in PvP, especially in the higher ranks, hitting a player with this build is not that easy, and thus gaining and maintaining 5 stacks of E-River is challenging. I will go with Adaptive Steel and Battle Anthem because of my playstyle. Adaptive Steel increases critical damage of charge skill by 20% when using Mole Blade. At tier 6, using dual weapon skill will also grant you the spear bonus for 10 seconds, letting you ignore 12.5% physical defense of the enemy. Battle Anthem adds 10% charge skill damage at tier 1 and 15% at tier 4. Both inner ways boost the charge skill damage, and that's what I want. However, they are slightly less compatible because they are from the Bell's-Rat family, so there's a small trade-off of using them. Let's talk about gear. I'm using the Rain Whisper and Moonflare sets, which are recommended by the Path Guide. Rain Whisper gives 15% critical damage when you have an HP shield. It is perfect for this build since you maintain shield most of the time. For attribute, prioritize the requirement needed for the martial art talents. You will need 90,000 max HP, 175 body or power, and 197 minimum Stonesplit attack to get all 100% talent bonuses. This build relies on critical rather than affinity, so prioritize the critical rate from the tuning. Currently, I have a 75.6% critical rate and a 65.7% effective critical rate as shown in the bracket. When fighting a same level opponent, the discounted rate in this bracket will be used instead of the original critical rate. Besides, you also need a 100% effective precision rate to guarantee the chance to land a critical hit. I'm at 98.8% and one more precision rate boost can max it out. Now, let's recap the combo in the boss fights. Every fight starts with the prep phase, Spears Q and then Blades Q. For the bosses who attack slowly like the White King, you can charge and slam him directly. One combo plus an execution and he is done. For bosses who strike often, we can use the whole defense method. Same prep process but drink some beer to enter intoxicated using the Drunken Poet. Block attack and slam. Followed by Dragon Breath and execute. Maybe add another mythic skill. Rinse and repeat the process. It's just as simple to use a tank build. But please don't limit yourself to the combo I mentioned. They are just the basic. Be creative by mixing the step or adding other skills. Alright, it's the end of the sharing today. Please give me a like and subscribe for more updates. I'm Alan from Meta Instincts. See you in the next video. Bye.